What's up, guys? Natty Bros here. Today we're going to be reacting to the Eddie Hall versus Brian Shaw match. We saw this in person. Probably the best match of the night, honestly. Way different than people were expecting. And we're going to kind of just skip through just to show the actual matches. We don't want to go through all the banter. The East vs. West video is like 50 minutes. We don't want to do that to you guys. So let's get started.
Yeah, so being in person for this was amazing. Their walkouts were super intense. We were in the back room where the athletes were, and Brian Shaw was just like had his headphones on. He was like in the corner. He was so intense. He was so ready. And then Eddie, I didn't even see him until a few minutes before the match. I think he just showed up really late or something. But both of their walkouts were intense, and I think the most entertaining match of the night.
Yeah.
Like, as you'll see, Eddie was locked in when he got to the table, but he was just nonstop banter. Loved it. This part is awesome. He was trying to get the USA crowd. Anytime Brian did anything, he would get the USA chant going. He's from the UK.
Yeah, Eddie was great. The showmanship was amazing, top tier. The trash level was just the right amount. It was perfect.
So when I was watching this first match with my friend JP, I was just holding on to him. I was like, the anticipation for this match was more than any other one. I couldn't believe it. Eddie did a great job with the refs controlling the match. Dude, really good job. The whole time, Eddie was just talking to the crowd, talking to the refs, talking to Brian, and everyone counted him out. And boom, when that happened, I couldn't believe it.
I was shocked.
The crowd went crazy. It was absolutely crazy. So Brian ends up fouling out first round.
I think he moved in a rest grip. I think was the second foul.
That was a foul.
Yeah, because it's moving in the rest grip.
So, Eddie takes the first match. Let's see round two. He was just talking to the crowd the whole time. So the problem here is just Eddie refused to slip.
Yeah, he was holding on way
You
too
don't
much.
want to do that against Brian. Brian has incredible grip strength.
Yeah,
His arm is so much
right
bigger. It just that's you don't want to be doing. That's the one thing you don't want to be doing against Brian.
I thought Brian was going to be better in the straps, though. Eddie got a much better start this time.
Very impressive, though, how Eddie could keep climbing. He was talking shit to him the whole time.
He got over his hand. But Brian's just too strong.
Impressive he could.
He shouldn't have held on there, though.
But that's the macho strongman type stuff. He's like, oh, I'm not going to slip. I don't need it. But I think once he learns a little bit. Oh, this was awesome. This part was awesome. I couldn't believe it when it happened.
It's just so random.
I thought Brian was gonna like go across the table and fight.
I think he thought it was kind of funny, honestly.
This was big.
You can hear Neil pick up, talking him up. Great start by Eddie.
They're both holding on.
He's over his hand. Brian's trying to let go here a little bit. Yeah, Brian.
That was the only slip of the whole match.
Eddie's like, you need the straps, you little kid. Everyone thought Brian was way better in the straps, too.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of assumed. Devin was like, oh, you're in the straps? This is going to be a flash pin now.
Okay, we go to the one strap match. Best match, I think, of
Best,
the day.
yeah. Yeah, well, maybe Gabby.
No, best round of this match.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
And Eddie took it.
He took it.
And he had him so well in the straps. I think he should have just, if he did this every time, Eddie would have won. I think. I could be wrong. But Eddie gets it 2-2.
I was shocked.
And the rest were outside of the straps.
So right now it's 2-2.
Yeah, I think so.
Brian's back is so big.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Seeing Brian in person was insane. He's so
We
big.
got to talk to him a little bit. It was crazy. Just looking up to him, like, hey, how you doing, man?
He's so nice though. So intense though. And pretty much the same exact thing. Just Eddie holding on. Brian gets him outside the straps.
Brian got a little intense there. This was scary. Look at her still. Look at his face. Like he's. There's no way he can do anything.
And Brian was serious there.
Yeah.
He was serious.
They were both intense.
Yeah, both of those refs.
If you watch the end, we'll watch it. But Brian is still pissed, and Eddie has to be like, "Hey, Brian, it's over. It's over." Then something clicks, and Brian's like, "Okay."
And pretty much just a replay of all the other matches. Just
I don't think Eddie could slip from
Eddie
like
holding
he
on.
doesn't know how to. Says, "Fight me." And right here, Brian's still pissed, and it takes him a little bit to like calm down, to let the adrenaline go down.
And then there it is.
Yeah, then they're friends again.
The thing about these two guys is more than anyone else in arm wrestling, they know how to get to that place. Like we
Yeah.
talked about this in another video, but Eddie Hall was like, physically, I only could lift 460 kg in practice. But he got to that mindset where he's lifting the car off his kids, and you have to go to a really dark place for that. And to win World's Strongest Man, get the 500 kg deadlift, and then for Brian Shaw to win it 4 times, they are so locked in.
They're
They know how to compete more than any of the other guys.
Like the mental place that you have to be to pull a plane for like 100 yards, or to carry, like pick up the stones and place all of them and try to do in like under 10 seconds. It's ridiculous.
Like, so they have the
crazy.
physical ability, the strength, of course. Like Brian Shaw's the strongest person in arm wrestling. I don't think there's anyone who gets that amount of strength that Brian has.
No.
And they know how to prepare. So they have everything except the arm wrestling, which is a huge part, of course.
But I mean, we saw Brian was pulling with Brandon Allen, who's really strong. Who's a decent level pro, I would say, and he could give him something. And a lot of people have been asking, like, someone made this Reddit post really dumb. He said, "Do you think Brian Shaw's in the top 10?" And I was like, "Are you serious right now? Like, are you kidding?" No, absolutely not. Is he in the top like 500? Maybe.
Yeah.
He still hasn't pulled an arm wrestler.
Yeah. I do think Brian, he really is obsessed with arm wrestling. He really wants to get good. So I think he has the body for it. He has the mindset for it. And he's not that old. He's what? 40?
I don't know.
Early 40s, I think.
And Eddie is also interested in continuing to arm wrestle.
He
He has an MMA fight, but after the MMA fight, he might go back into some arm wrestling, which I would love to see because he does the trash talking so perfectly. Also, one thing I noticed, Brian and Eddie, they hyped up this match.
Oh,
They both have massive YouTube channels. They sold way more pay-per-views because of these two guys right here.
Yeah. I saw so many comments that were like, I only bought this because of Eddie and Brian. Or I only came to the event because of Eddie and Brian.
Yeah, people actually came all the way to the middle of New Jersey just to see Eddie and Brian.
And I think that's what our sport needs. Like the number one event, like the main match between Levon and Jerry, that was not hyped up at all.
It really wasn't.
Jerry wasn't hyping it up because he doesn't really have a social media presence. Levon wasn't really hyping it up. So both of the contestants weren't. And then the arm wrestling fans weren't really talking about it much. This was the match they were talking about the most.
Brian and Eddie.
So,
which makes sense because they both have large followings. But I think that's a problem with arm wrestling right now is people aren't hyping it up enough. Like, a lot of the guys, they just want to go in and arm wrestle. And that's great. Like, that's awesome. Like, I love to see that. But you need to hype up your match. Michael Todd does it. Devin does it. Brian and Eddie did it. A lot of the guys don't hype up their matches nearly enough.
Even the first match on the card, like Kevin Palco, he did a good job.
He hyped it up, yeah.
Like, he was posting videos constantly about
Unfortunately, to grow the sport, we had an interview about this. We need to go through social media. We need to get on ESPN. We need to do all these things. And the way to do that is through social media, through marketing, through growing it, through YouTube. Yeah. Like, we're trying to get people who aren't into arm wrestling and arm wrestling. Like, we're all trying to do our best, but we need to hype up matches more.
Yeah. And I think there's this old school mindset where it's like, social media, I'm not going to talk about my match. I'm just going to get locked in. And, like, I understand that, but Eddie and Brian are as macho as it comes. They take it so seriously, all the competitions they do. And they're still able to do social media, and they have millions of followers. So it's like, you're not better than that. You're not better than Eddie and Brian. You're not. Like, no matter who you are as an arm wrestler, you're not like too good for social media. So I think to grow the sport of arm wrestling, this is what we need. And
absolutely,
Brian is so locked in. He's yelling. He's intense. And then Eddie, oh my gosh, he was such an entertainer. The whole crowd was just cracking up. Like, really awesome. And the thing is, he's not being someone else. He's not playing a character. That's literally himself. And I think that makes it really interesting. Like, I know some other people, like Devin was talking about in the Brian Shaw interview, he was talking about how he goes to an alter ego and stuff like that. And some people have to do that. But Eddie is literally that person. Like, he's intense and insane, but he's also so funny. So it just, you have both of those best world, and that's who he was. Even on the table, in all the match interviews beforehand and after, he's always the same person. So I think just having great personalities like this and amazingly strong and dedicated athletes, this is the future of the sport. I think it's awesome.
All right, but guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Also, we're trying to get to 5K, so we would really appreciate that. We're trying to make really good content, and I think our content lately has been awesome. We're trying to take things to the next level, doing reaction videos, training videos, the after pulls of David Lade, Auden, interviews. We're trying to bring everything. We're trying to do it all, and we really appreciate your support. Leave a comment if you want us to make more reaction videos like this. Whatever you want us to do, we'll do it. We don't care. We have a list of videos that we want to make. See you guys later. Natty Bros out.
Natty Bros out.